This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jeremy Wolf.
Hello, and welcome everyone to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Wolf. And today I have a special guest. I say special because she was referred by another guest of mine who I had on the podcast, I think it was last week, Allison Chesney, who's doing some great things. She's a local photographer, and she does some great work with Project Beauty of South Florida. And she nominated several folks to come on the show, and each one of them has just been a pleasure and a delight. And today I have Coach Carrie Best that's joining us, and I've heard wonderful things about Coach Carrie. So, Carrie, thanks for joining us today.
It is my extreme pleasure. Happy Friday to you. And I love podcasts and I love networking with amazing communities, and I love your mission. So it's a pleasure to join.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, and I'm excited to get into this to learn about what you do for our great community. So please, let's get into this. By the way, as always, thanks to our listeners for tuning in to learn more about our great community and the businesses that serve us. So I'm just going to call you Carrie. You want me to call you Coach Carrie or just Carrie, or either one? You don't care.
Carrie is very cool. I'm
just going to call you Carrie.
Different names. Go with Carrie.
That's Carrie. Keep it simple. Okay. So tell everyone a little bit about what you do.
Okay. So I am a lifestyle nutrition coach. I received my certification right before COVID from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which is a program that was spearheaded in the fabulous state of New York, which is my hometown. And I learned over 100 dietary theories in general, but the number one thing that I was able to do through this integrative nutrition coaching program was learn how to coach people to make effective and sustainable lifestyle changes through the main pillars of health and wellness, which are nutrition, exercise and movement, spirituality, and work-life balance. So I came up with a niche within a niche. I call myself a lifestyle nutrition coach because I work with people on a one-on-one and small group level to really get to know the dream lifestyle that they would like to have. And we build customized, personalized nutrition programs for those people's needs. So it's totally cool because I always wanted to be a psychologist, and I went to the University of Florida to study psychology, but I never.
Gators.
Go Gators.
I'm a Gator as well.
Yay. I actually never went back to get my master's in psychology because I entered in the business world as a post-college grad. And so this career really allows me to use the passion that I always had as a young adult in helping people become the absolute best version of themselves through lifestyle changes. So it's very much holistic lifestyle nutrition coaching, and it's customized. So I get to know people and help them be their best. That's Coach Carrie Best's mission statement in a nutshell, if that makes sense.
I mean, your passion clearly comes out for what you do. And I think it's a wonderful niche that you found. So for our listeners out there, what are they to expect, right? If they contact you for coaching services, is this something where you're working? Like, how frequently do you work with your clients? It sounds to me like this is a pretty intensive program, right? And, it's changing your whole lifestyle is a big thing. So walk us through, if you could, what it looks like from the time maybe somebody calls you for help and you working with them.
That's awesome. And I want to come back because I'm a big communication person here too. I love the word that you used, which is intensive. Intensive and intense, those are two different words that have very different meaning. And in some cases, yes, my passion shows intensity because my past and the reason why I went into this, I'm filled with just excitement to help anybody who wants to get healthy. But in terms of the intensity or the intensiveness of the program, that is all dictated by the pace and the past history that a client has when they come to me. Okay. So to take you through a process, the consultation is a 15-minute Zoom call with me where I ask my clients, prospective clients, what is your why? What's stopping you, or what has stopped you from the past in getting started on a health journey? And what are maybe your one or two goals? Those are the two things that we do in our quick 15-minute call. And based on how that goes, if a client's ready and they're excited to focus on themselves, we kind of get started in coaching as soon as the next day based on my availability. So, I'm hoping that people will come to me with a clear vision as to what their struggles or pain points have been in the past. We don't have to figure everything out session one, but what we typically do is jump into a first session, okay? And based on the client's needs, a program is typically either 12 weeks or 24 weeks to start. Okay. So if they're coming to me for weight loss, we do some very quick goal setting in our first session to really see what program would be best for them. Okay. And so I typically meet with my clients once a week for 12 weeks or once a week for 24 weeks on Zoom. Okay. Because my business is national at this point. So I can meet with anybody, anywhere, in any time zone. And the flow is to basically do an entire health history, our first session. So the client and I can really develop that rapport. And it's a comprehensive overview on where they've been, what's worked, what hasn't worked for their lifestyle. And each time someone has a session with me, we focus on behavioral enhancements where they can walk away with one or two tactical assignments to do that week based on the lifestyle that they will lead for that week. So we do a lot of goal setting. We do a lot of planning. We do a lot of deep diving on their actual behaviors from the minute they wake up in the morning to the time they go to bed at night. And based on the communication and the vulnerability in session one, right, we come up with the number one or number two most effective measures that they can try and implement that week to see some results. And then every week is more of that. We evaluate what worked and what didn't work from the week before. We catch up, and then we set goals for the following week.
I love the approach that you're taking to this because everybody is different and you have such a personalized approach from what you've said in how you handle different clients and how you handle your process, which I think is so important. Because I can speak from my own experience, right? I've like anybody else, I've struggled with many things, creating the right habits, creating the right daily things in my life to kind of get to where I want to be. Mm-hmm. What are some of the common things that you see across the board with your clients that they most struggle with when it comes to building these habits for success, not just through nutrition, but also lifestyle in whole to live the most fulfilled life that they can?
So that's really a great question. I think some of the biggest challenges is consistency. I think a lot of people approach, and by the way, as a lifestyle nutrition coach, in terms of like themes of what I do with my different clients, some clients come to me for weight loss. Some clients come to me because they just want to get stronger. They'll go to the doctor, they'll look at their labs, they'll see deficiencies in certain things, and they want like a guide on the side, an accountability buddy to work with them on making those modifications. Some people that I'm working with right now, they think they're coming to me for nutrition, and we end up really focusing solely on lifestyle. So, there are various niches within what I do, but I do think the overarching theme with all the different populations is consistency and not approaching the journey from a short-term perspective. I think we need to slowly shift mindsets to, if you commit to going on a 12-week or a 24-week like jumpstart, it's a jumpstart to a marathon of healthy habits. There's no real like shortcut. There's no real, I'm going to do this for 12 weeks and then stop because I've graduated the program. So consistency is the number one overarching theme I think that people struggle with.
Makes a lot of sense. You mentioned marathon.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing a lot of running lately myself.
Okay.
I've gotten into working towards doing a half marathon. I've had a couple past guests on the show that have done marathons. I actually had somebody on recently whose husband was in the background listening, and we were talking about running, and he had done an ultra marathon. So I was thinking about having him come on the show to talk a little bit about that, because I'm fascinated by long endurance running and things like that. So what do you like to do for fun when you're not working? I imagine you're big into fitness. Do you ever do any running, or tell us a little bit about what do you like to do?
So I did a 34-minute run right before I hopped on the phone with you.
Love it.
One of the things that I love about exercise is that for me and for a lot of my clients, not only does it get me to my fitness goals, but it helps me with stress management. It helps me have an internal party, if you know what I'm saying. What I mean by that is I'm not a big party person. I'm turning 49 this year, and I've been preaching the health and wellness thing internally to myself for years. And I journal and I meditate and I do all these things to connect myself to my mind, my body, my soul. And I've really realized over the past 10 years that exercise is so much more than just getting into a calorie deficit or building muscle. It is an anti-stress tool. It is a great sleep aid. And for me, it's the party that, I'd like to have more. I'd like to go dancing more frequently, and I'd like to, go clubbing more frequently, but that's not in my lifestyle right now. So anytime I put those headphones on and I go for a run or I go to the gym, it elevates my mood. It makes me feel great. So I do a ton of different things. Actually, I'm glad that you asked this, because one of my goals for this year is to diversify my workouts a little bit more.
In what way?
Well, I've been bodybuilding for the past, I would say, like 3 years. I did my first bikini competition in 2021 or 2022 December, so like 2 years ago. I was in incredible shape, and since then I've been training aggressively in the gym on the weightlifting side. I absolutely love it, so passionate about it. I've gotten so much stronger, but I used to run half marathons before that. And me personally, when I go all in with a goal, like the half marathon thing was a goal of mine for like several years. Then I figured out it wasn't serving me, so I pivoted to weightlifting. So for the past 3 years, I've been very heavily focused on strength training. And what I'd like to do in 2024 is diversify things a little bit more, and bring back more of a weekly balance in my structure. So you're spot on. I love exercising. I love cooking. I love meal prepping. I really love reading. I love people. So I connect with people on a lot of like different levels. Those are my real hobbies. And lastly, traveling is a huge thing. For like 2-3 years, we were stymied by COVID and everything. And I would say one of my main focuses this year is to enjoy getting out of South Florida a little bit more and going to fun places here and there.
Favorite, or not favorite, what's your dream travel trip? Where would you like to go?
Oh, wow. My dream or my family's dream? Okay,
Either or.
I've always wanted to do a retreat, like a health and wellness retreat. It's been on my bucket list for like 3-4 years. I've thought about doing a yoga retreat. I've thought about doing like a spiritual, like Buddhist retreat where you go and you work with people that can teach you about meditation and all of that. So for me, I'd like to plan a trip like that. Costa Rica has amazing trips, but I've been so focused on helping others get to where they want to be in that realm that I have put that on the back of the list. My family loves to travel too. We just got back from Thailand and Cambodia. That was pretty amazing. So yeah, that's phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big food enthusiast. I would love to just take some time off and travel the world and go experience other cultures and eat the food there and meet new people. Sounds like fun for sure. I last place I went out of the country in recent memory has to be, I guess, Italy for my honeymoon many years ago. It's just so beautiful. Love to go back there as well. There's so many places to go and so little time to get there.
I know. And traveling like Thailand, it took us like a day and a half, almost 2 days to get there.
Just together, yeah.
And the culture is so completely different. The people are phenomenal. We absolutely loved the people. The food, I'm a big, huge foodie. And one of the things that I coach my clients on is how to create a lifestyle based around, their wishes. So for me, traveling is a huge thing. So I plan and strategize my nutrition goals based on, my lifestyle at home when I'm working, and then my lifestyle when I'm traveling. And it's very cool to actually show people how they can maintain their goals in both scenarios, and that they can build the life that they want. So I go all in when I'm traveling, like balls to the walls, having fun with the cultural, aspects of the different nutrition. And it does take a few weeks to feel good when you come home, when you go off plan, but that's an intentional decision that you make kind of going into a trip. That's why planning and being consistent with these healthy behaviors, like ongoing in the marathon versus sprint kind of mindset, is totally awesome, because you can really age so well and move forward with your goals and get the physique and get the body and get the mindset that you want. You're like never too old to get there. And that's what I want to leave your listeners with today. I work with people who are 16, 18, 20. I work with people who are 70 and 80 years old. And it's an unbelievable thing. I lost my mother when she was 52. And that's why I went into this line of work, because I want to help people age well and live long, healthy lives. And what's so great is I've seen people transform their outlook on their health in 12 and 24 weeks, no matter what age they are. And I just think that is so super cool to work with someone who's 80, who has not felt great since she's had children. And at 80, she's now committing to her lifestyle. That's freaking awesome.
I got to get you in touch with my father. I don't think he's done a day of exercise in his life. 77 just turned, and he could really benefit from what you're doing. Carrie, we could talk all day about this. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we got to wrap it up. So before we do that, let our listeners know how we could learn more. How can we find you? Maybe share your website and your contact information.
Awesome. Okay. My website is Coach Carrie with 2 R's, Best, BEST.com. Best is my last name. So Coach Carrie Best. You can email me at info, INFO, at CoachCarrieBest.com. Or you can follow me on Instagram at Coach Carrie Best. And I love Instagram now because I've finally gotten the hang of it. And you guys can message me if you have questions, if you want to set up a complimentary consultation. The link to my calendar is on my link tree on my Instagram. So you don't even have to call me. You could just click on the button on Instagram and have a 15-minute free consult with me.
Very cool. We will link in the description to all of your contact information so our listeners can reach out and learn more. Carrie, it was truly a pleasure having you on the show. You like I said earlier, you bring forth a wonderful energy. Keep up the good work with what you do in the community. I really do love it. So yeah, man, thanks for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invite.
Of course. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Everyone have a wonderful day and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast, Cooper City. To nominate your favorite local business to be featured on the show, go to gnpcoopercity.com. That's gnpcoopercity.com, or call 954-231-3170.